Ladies and gentlemen, the show will commence in 5 minutes. While you are waiting, please hit the like button and share the video link.
Please like and leave a comment, and share this video.
Only 3 minutes until the start. Only 2 minutes until the start.
Please like and subscribe to this channel today, and don't forget to share it and hit that thumbs up. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the awesomeness is about to start in 1 minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin. Grab a drink and a snack, sit down and enjoy watching the show. Don't forget to comment, like the video, and share it to others.
Hey everybody, show number 42 live from Minsk, Belarus. It's currently 8:05 in the evening here. Sun's just going down on a cold and wet day. It's been raining.
Windy. Don't forget windy.
Yes, windy.
Terrible.
Windy, raining.
Yeah, cold, windy, raining. It's not really cold. It was colder last week or so. Terrible, like 2 degrees. I can't believe it. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so what do we have? Number 42, and what's that mean?
That I don't know. It's
Life, the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
really. Oh, 42 was a while ago for me.
Douglas Adams.
Really? That was from Douglas Adams?
Yeah.
Oh.
From Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I was just telling somebody about Douglas Adams the other day. You know, he's got not just the science fiction books, you know, but he also made one called Last Chance to See, and it's about, you know, animals that are at that time were nearly extinct. It's like they existed and people knew they existed, but nobody had seen them. You know, like they're, you know, very rare that anybody had actually sighted some certain types of animals or something. So, well, you know, I don't know. It's a long time since I read that book.
Oh, something weird.
Yeah.
The translation was working today, now it's not working again.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, okay. I'll just send a message to the man, asking what the hell's going on.
Yeah. So we gotta rattle his cage or something. Gosh, I've been in the zoo too long.
Yes.
Rattle his cage. Yeah. But anyway, we should talking about cages. As we all know, the attacks on Gaza are still going on, and of course there has been some attacks on Rafah, and I don't know if the major attack has started yet, but we've been seeing that tensions have cooled down quite a bit.
Before that,
yeah,
I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah, let's do Belarus first.
I want to do Belarus first.
Yeah,
really?
I was forgetting.
Yeah, you're trying to butt in.
Yeah.
So the big man was out planting apples the other day, apple trees. Spent the day doing that. A few hundred.
Yeah, I'll bet he didn't just do like they do in the West. They throw one shovel of dirt and then.
No, he was actually.
He actually works.
He was actually working.
He chops wood.
He chops wood. He was actually planting trees, apple trees in this apple orchard. Apparently, the day's called something which I can't remember, and everybody goes out and does stuff for their community. So he was down, I think where he was from, putting in apples.
The thing is, the guy's so busy, you can't keep up with him.
How's he get time?
He was just in a hockey game a day or two ago.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and then I think besides planting apples, there he is.
He turned up on his on a bike with a sidecar with his dog.
Yeah. And he was in what was this big? I keep forgetting the name of this thing, but anyway, it was like a big conference and said some really profound things.
Oh, the People's Assembly today. Yeah, he was in that today. And he's busy. He also said that he'll give up power when he finds someone that essentially won't fuck the country over.
I remember he said once that was some months ago, and he was talking, you know, that's something that nobody ever talks about. It was about pollution. Maybe it was a global warming conference or something.
He was in Dubai at the conference, and he said the biggest pollution is war. Shouldn't have war.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. It's like, and then you see some of these pictures, and I'm not talking about these bombed out tanks and things all over the place, but it's like, think about depleted uranium and some countries use chemical weapons, and a lot of that stuff, I don't know how long that stays in the soils, and I don't know, a lot of this farmland in Ukraine, I don't know if it's still farmable, you know. But he says other profound things. He said something about that the Ukraine, what this war going on, it's a testing ground. Let's see, I wrote it here on the side, where the fate of the world is being decided, you know. And he said not only that, there's these are nuclear powers, you know, and Ukraine is like, I don't know, it's like a conduit or something between. I don't know if this has ever happened. You have like the two major military powers, and they're actually fighting there, and the United States is playing as if they're not involved. And of course they do have soldiers there, and they've had them from the very beginning, before the military operation. And everybody that follows news and really keeps their eyes open should know that, you know. But anyhow, Anything else?
Yes, I think there is. No, you just sent me. Hang on,
Yeah.
give me a second.
Well, he said something else too, and I can't remember. I think it was in the same assembly, but there's some good stuff. I should be writing it down. I keep relying on
Yeah,
you
I've got it at the assembly.
reporting all this
Yeah,
stuff.
I've got it at the assembly here. I'll just give me a second. And it's got English and Russian subtitles. Well, I
Oh.
don't need Russian subtitles because he's speaking Russian. So,
Oh,
well,
okay.
one would assume he's speaking Russian. So here we go. This is at the assembly today.
Mhm.
Поэтому на западных границах мы лицом к лицу стоим с НАТО. Утвержден план развертывания 300-тысячной военной группировки на восточном фланге блока.
So it's essentially saying that NATO is planning to deploy 300,000 military people on the eastern flank of the. And it's been approved.
Они называют это поясом сдерживания. Понять бы только, кого они собираются сдерживать.
And he says they call it a belt of restraint. So, you know,
That sounds like an invasion.
well, he
force.
said,
300,000.
who are they going to restrain?
Yeah, it's
Таки развернули
Look at Lukashenko's record. When was the last time he attacked? When has he ever attacked
Yeah,
anybody?
exactly. It says here the Poles deployed on the border with us, combat units, the armed forces. for
And
protection.
Russia doesn't have
подразделения
nearly enough people.
вооруженных сил для защиты от якобы массового проникновения с белорусской
Saying for alleged mass infiltration from the Belarusian territory of migrants. He's going, seriously?
территории мигрантов. Серьезно? Профессионально вооруженные до зубов военные стоят на границе, чтобы убивать женщин и детей.
He said they're standing on the border, ready to kill women and children.
Безоружных людей, бегущих от войны. Из тех
Unarmed people fleeing from the war, from those states that they destroyed, the West.
государств, которые они разорили. Вы видели, как они защищают границу, калечат, убивают, а потом подбрасывают трупы и коллег нам.
I did see a report today. They're investigating Poland Poland is investigating their border guys for doing this to the immigrants. You know, like beating them up and killing them and then throwing back over the fence.
into the Belarusian side, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they're investigating it now. I mean,
Yeah, the Poles are
they've
investigating.
it's been reported even over a year. Matter of fact, when did I come here? Back in 2021, it was reported. And then there's mass graves, supposedly. Even defecting Polish border guards that came to Belarus said that they can show if they had the chance, they could show Belarusian authorities where there's a lot of bodies buried of migrants that the Polish border guards have, lined up in like a firing squad and shot them and buried them.
He's also saying on the territory of Lithuania by 2028, formation of a brigade level of
До 28 года будет развернуто формирование бригадного уровня вооруженных сил.
of Germany, which we talked about anyway the last show.
That they're starting to deploy more and more
Yeah,
people there.
yeah. By 2028, there'll be a brigade level. Then.
Сил ФРГ. Немцы так ничего и не поняли. Уроки им впрок не пришли с той войны.
He's saying the Germans don't understand anything. They haven't learned anything since the war. No
Yeah, that's
lessons.
not actually, it doesn't sound like that's many people, but those are special forces. They're not just some regular soldiers.
Yeah.
А также силы и средства объединенных вооруженных сил НАТО численностью до 5000 человек. До 20 тысяч натовских солдат сосредоточено в
He's saying up to 20,000 NATO soldiers are concentrated in Poland and the Baltic countries right now.
Польше и странах Балтии. Обращаюсь к старшим, вспомните, нас после Второй мировой Великой Отечественной войны они, руководители элиты Европы, называли оккупантами. А дислокация в Западной Европе на постоянной основе более 60,5 тысяч военнослужащих вооруженных сил США и более 30 тысяч натовских солдат – это что?
He was saying after the war they called the Soviet Union occupiers, right? Because they had all those soldiers. But he said at the moment there's 65,000 US in Europe, right?
Это не оккупация, это
So he's saying, isn't this not occupation?
Yeah.
другое. Какие политические решения будут принимать европейские лидеры под прицелом автоматов американской группировки? Я здесь написал вопрос к размышлению. Да не вопрос к размышлению. Мы же уже видим, какие они решения принимают и насколько они самостоятельны. А сами Соединенные Штаты, они ускоренными темпами модернизируют свое тактическое ядерное оружие, которое хранится на авиабазах Бельгии, ФРГ и Италии.
He's now saying that the US has got nukes in Belgium, France, Italy, Turkey, and Netherlands.
Турции, Нидерландов. Тактическое. В военной терминологии это называется ударно-наступательная возможность. Но если дойдет до стратегического, планета исчезнет. А им же хочется жить и управлять, как раньше, планетой. Поэтому тактическое. Ударно-наступательные компоненты.
What do you say?
Oh, he's saying strike and offensive components are not for defense. All these technical nukes they're putting into the Europe, NATO.
I thought I can barely read, but it said something like they want to control the planet.
Yeah.
The masters of the universe, as I always say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Оборонительные.
So he's got what questions do we have for them?
Так какие к нам тогда вопросы? Что так возбудились?
Why did they get so excited when we placed weapons of similar function in our bases?
Yeah, tactical nukes, they're smaller, and here they have the big nukes all over with longer range.
Мы разместили аналогичные по функционалу оружия на своих базах. Латыши.
Don't you know, Mr. Lukashenko, that you're supposed to be defenseless when we attack you? Incredible. You know, it's like, the rules-based order is they make the rules and in the West. And
well, so far, every country that's given up their nukes has been invaded by America and its allies.
Yeah. We don't want to hurt
That's why they can't do anything to Kim in North Korea.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's like, I don't know. Living in the United States, I can't even imagine when I start thinking about the level of brainwashing, how I was brainwashed, and then you start seeing things when you see the truth and all that, and you're fed with this stuff. We're winning all the wars. Nobody can do it without the United States, and we made the huge difference. And it's like, and you start hearing different things, and first you don't believe it, and then it's like you start to see like evidence, and you hear it again, and it's like, what the heck, that actually Russia is the one that actually won World War II more than any other country, and they lost the largest amount of people.
Yeah, but as the years go on, each time they do polls, and it's Russia's less and less, and the Americans are more and more that won it.
Yeah, so it's like, it makes you think the Great Britain and France weren't even there either. Maybe they're going to be phased out, and the United States did it all by themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh,
it's most likely. Anyway, you were saying, let's get back onto where you were doing.
Oh, okay. Well, we were talking about, a lot of these tensions and things like that we had over these past weeks, and it's not, they seem to like, in a way they've disappeared, but, all this stuff that we're hearing, just like what Lukashenko was just saying, it's obvious that these tensions have not gone away. These things are just building up again, and it's maybe going to build up to something even bigger. It's sort of like...
Personally, are you worried about here getting nuked?
Getting nuked, Well, see, that's a different one. Getting attacked, not so much. But getting nuked, I mean, it's like I would wonder, why would they nuke us in Belarus?
Well, I don't know if you know this plan was it the 60s? I can't remember. I think it was the 60s. They were going to nuke Minsk as a warning.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing, just to warn us.
Yeah.
Killing them. Millions of people?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the United States almost dropped a bomb on Cairo in 1967. It was only like a minute or so away. And it was turned back in the last minute. We just mentioned that also in the last show. I don't know how many times the United States has been that close to dropping nuclear weapons on people. And so, gosh.
Oh, MacArthur wanted to use them against the Chinese in the Korean War. And he was very upset that they didn't.
I tell you,
because who was after Roosevelt?
Truman.
Truman, yeah, he's trying to get Truman to do it, and Truman's going, well,
Well, Truman, he's the one that dropped him on.
yeah, well, he saw what happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. He's saying, no, we're not going to use them again.
Jeez.
But MacArthur wanted to use them on the Chinese in North in Korea.
Wow. But look at the people. Look at the caliber of people we have in Washington, D.C. now. We'll even show you a picture. Who was it that sent that? It was Donald Trump Jr. showed us what our military has there, So, you saw that picture, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll be showing that. But that's just one little sample. And there's just under the politicians. Look at Joe Biden. I mean, look at all these people. Look at even Baerbock from Germany. She says she doesn't care what the German people think. She should be running in Ukraine. She doesn't care about Germany. She's even said that. I don't know. These people just got me mixed up. Anyway, we'll see that even
messed up.
Yeah, we'll even see that when very soon, in maybe in 1 minute or so, we'll see what the U.S. Congress thinks of. Well, it's kind of like showing what they think of the U.S. because they show what they like about other countries. Anyway, the situation in Russia and Ukraine, it was less.
To everybody, we've got a little new camera, as you can see.
For months,
you can see. Is that the best side of you?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Like if I go like this, maybe. But anyway, the situation. It's just lessened for a little while, and now they're really pumping weapons into Ukraine. I mean, it's gone back again.
I read. Just to digress, I read already they've pumped in 600 million into Moldova.
Yeah, they've been doing this stuff for a long time, and they're pumping things into Lithuania and Estonia and all these things. Kind of slowly, but Moldova, it's like they're just kind of sneaking up, and I don't know, Bosnia, have they gotten a bunch of stuff there? And they're trying to deplete things, I think, from Greece. They're trying to take the Patriot systems and send those to Ukraine. And Greece says, no. And
trying to turn Armenia against Russia.
Oh, boy. I tell you, they're just trying to, create more tensions and chaos in the world. That's like that, like what was that? Get Smart? Chaos. Yes, 99? Anyway. Yeah, they don't, but there's certain entities don't want a lot of this stuff to go, public, so they're staying in the back rooms and steering public opinion, like saying, we're holding Israel back, but yet we're sending them lots of weapons, more weapons, and then we're sending them now a lot of money and weapons. But anyway, we have this video of the Congress, and they had this bill in front of, first going through the House of Representatives, and it's $95 billion of, for the most part, U.S. taxpayers' money. Oh, don't worry. A lot of it stays in America because we're making the weapons, and then people get the jobs, for a certain part of it. And makes you wonder, well, how does that help America when, in the end of the day, do these weapons actually create any, after they're created, do they create money somehow? Unless you win, and then when you win, what are you going to get? A country that's...
You should be able to build a nice high-speed rail with that money, shouldn't you?
Oh,
from New York to, say, down to Georgia.
High-speed rail. Well, I'll tell you what. Russia has, there's an anniversary of this rail line. We'll talk about that one too.
China's built 40,000 kilometers worth of rail and high-speed rail in 10 years.
Yeah, look at America. Doesn't really build much of anything anymore. Look at that Kerch Bridge.
They build weapons.
Huh?
They build weapons.
Yeah, that's what they do.
They blow shit up.
Yeah, they blow crap up, and then
they're good at that.
They come and spend a long time.
Not even good at that anymore.
They get a lot of money for rebuilding some stuff. And matter of fact, they don't even do that much rebuilding. I don't know. It's like the hurricanes in Haiti. I remember, the Clinton Foundation said they're going to do this, and they pledged a whole bunch of money, and I think they built 5 houses, and they built a luxury resort for rich people, and they're supposed to be doing, big housing projects, and they never did it, and they got a huge amount of money from, I think some countries were complaining because they donated to the Clinton Foundation. They just lost their money, and nothing was ever done with it.
But Clinton Foundation's a scam.
Yeah. So a lot of scams nowadays.
Yes.
But here's our Congress, and here's everybody celebrating the theft of American taxpayers' money and the death of more Ukrainians. The meat grinder, people. Cheer on for the meat grinder. Thomas?
Yes.
Huh?
And it's illegal to wave other
Yeah.
countries' flags in Congress.
Supposedly, even though we see all these films of people talking in Congress, they say, "Oh, it's illegal to film in Congress," so they're going to fine Representative Massey $500 for filming that, and of course it's sort of like what Canada was doing when they were cheering Nazis, in their parliament, and now here we are in America. American lawmakers voted in by the American people are waving flags from a foreign country, one of the most corrupt countries on earth, according to the United States media as well. And anyway, they're not going to charge Massey because I guess it makes it even more embarrassing for the United States Congress that probably has a low approval rating. And but anyway, here we have another video, and it shows Biden and Congress, and
It's not charity. It's an investment in the global security.
Yeah, they love Zelensky. So it's an investment that gets no returns. What an investment is that? Especially when Ukraine loses, and Donald Trump is saying, well, let's loan it to them. Let's loan it to them. And when they get defeated, you think Russia's going to pay it back? I don't think so.
Exactly.
Yes. And here's a guy. I don't know. Maybe we can't play this on YouTube. There's some bad language.
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll just play it. We'll just get
a strike?
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
But his opinion
I've
is...
had enough of YouTube. You can't do anything on it anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, some people say these words on YouTube. Let's see if we get away with
you
it.
Should. Well, that's right. You should be watching us on Rumble. I know there's people on YouTube. I can see it in the chat. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
YouTube chat. Thanks for tuning in. But anyway, here we go.
Yeah.
Did you see the fucking travesty that happened today on the House floor in Washington, D.C.?
Is he from New York?
Sounds like it, doesn't he?
Capital. These fucking losers were waving around another country's flag. Dozens of them, handing them out, waving them all over the House floor. The Ukrainian flag, and forget about everything else. I'm talking about that visual. That hurts. That hurts our patriots, our veterans, our military, those who sacrificed, and their families. You jerk-offs who vote for these fucking assholes that promised you to protect you and this country and do whatever it takes to preserve and promote and protect America. And these pieces of shit are waving around a flag of another country. In case you fucking jerk-offs forgot, there's only one flag to be waved anywhere in Washington, D.C. And that, my friends, is this one. In case you fucking forgot.
Maybe we should have taken that...
it's like in every country. They should be waving their own flag.
Yeah, but maybe we should have taken that, the Congress waving the Ukrainian flag and put that in our section called Things You'd Never See in Belarus.
Yeah, we got a new section at the end. It's called You Won't See That in Belarus.
But yeah.
So that's coming up at the end after we get off YouTube, of course.
Yeah, but here we have Blinken too, he's talking about how much he, respects the taxpayers' money.
Vladimir Putin thinks he can outlast us and outlast Ukraine. The message out of victory is he can't and will not. We are determined as a G7 to continue our strong support for Ukraine.
I thought China was in the G7. I thought it was supposed to be the top 7 economies.
Yeah. They kicked Russia out because...
Well, China wasn't there either in this G7.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe they just withdrew. But he says that Putin can't outlast them. I wonder if I can bet on that. Like if Biden is going to be in office longer than Putin.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you think?
Maybe.
What about Bush? Oh, wait. Bush is already gone. Oh, well, Clinton. Trump. Anyway, Putin's been there for quite a while. Lukashenko as well. So they've outlasted him. So, but Blinken was promising us that Putin won't outlast them. Anyway, Blinken is saying what the executive branch their view on, the White House's view, the attitude towards Ukraine conflict. And we already know the view of the House of Representatives. And of course, just, what was it, yesterday, the morning? The Senate voted? Was it yesterday or was it today? Oh, gosh, I'm losing the track. I've got Biden-itis. But, yeah.
Because that's all that work you're doing.
Yeah. Biden-itis, I don't know. Where do I live?
Not here.
Yeah. But anyway, Ukraine conflict, as well as other future conflicts, potential conflicts, this is all this stuff is to fund the military industrial complex. And these people, we talk about it every time, these congressmen, they're funded, their campaigns are funded mainly by these manufacturers of weapons. So naturally, that's who they support. And that's why there's endless wars. And they're trying to provoke even more wars, war and war and war. It's just unbelievable. I mean, how many people get on the internet and talk about that? Yes. So, of course, the Senate promoted that too. And, they're promoting more wars and bloodshed and destruction. And we have one senator, at least, and there's some people, there's some Congress people, in the House of Representatives, and there's one senator at least. Actually, there's a couple. There's Rand Paul, of course, everybody knows he's not for war. And here we have another one, J.D. Vance. He's not for any of this kind of stuff. We have a video, but you should have that as well. And I don't know. He's been speaking out against all this stuff, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene of the House of Representatives, too. So that's the
historical analogy that I think that's worth pointing out, and that is the historical analogy of the early 2000s. Now, in 2003, I was a high school senior, and I had a political position back then. I believed the propaganda of the George W. Bush administration that we needed to invade Iraq, that it was a war for freedom and democracy, that those who were appeasing Saddam Hussein were inviting a broader regional conflict. Does that sound familiar to anything that we're hearing today? It's the same exact talking points 20 years later with different names. But have we learned anything over the last 20 years? No, I don't think that we have. We have learned that if we beat our chest instead of engage in diplomacy, that it will somehow produce good outcomes. That is not true.
Military-industrial
We learned
complex?
that if we talk incessantly about World War II, we can bully people and cause them to ignore their basic moral impulses and lead the country straight into catastrophic conflict.
But don't worry, everybody. Donald Trump Jr. tweeted a photo of those that are vested to protect us. And I think you'll all agree, we're in good hands. We're in good hands with these. There's 3 of them right here. I think he calls them generals. I think one is just some kind of a corporal, and I don't know what the other ones are. But of course, you've seen admirals and things like that that look very, very similar to these people. Do you have that photo? Yeah.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, there it is. What's that thing? Yeah, see, there's our fearless leaders. These are the people that are leading you into combat effectiveness. See that? Look at those bellies. Those bellies are weapons too. The one in the green, probably the Marine Corps. Gee. Yep, they're staying in shape. These young men, ladies here. So,
remember on YouTube?
Yeah. There's
lovely ladies.
Lovely young ladies. Yes. So them. But then there's another lady, and she's from the House of Congress, and she's not really liking the heck what's going on, and she tries to be a little bit evasive because she knows how politics works. And this video I wanted to play last time, but with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and in her opinion, but I think I forgot to upload it. And here she is outside talking to some reporters.
Vote down. We saw all your frustration with Mike Johnson. So is today the day you're going to call for the vote seeking his ouster?
I'm actually going to let my colleagues go home and hear from their constituents, because I think people have been too obsessed with voting for foreign wars and the murder industry here in America to actually understand how angry Americans are. When you have the strongest, loudest voices in the Republican movement and grassroots, furious, calling for Mike Johnson to be vacated. The people here, my colleagues, have not heard the message. So I'm looking forward for them to go home, hearing from the folks back at home. But this is the sellout of America today. When we had members of Congress in there waving the Ukrainian flag on the United States House of Representatives floor, while we're doing nothing to secure our border, I think every American in this country should be furious. Who's going to vote for these people? How can you vote for these people? They don't serve our country.
Are you promising to call a vote on a motion to vacate eventually?
I don't think you were listening.
No, you said you wait for your constituents, but will you ever call it for a vote?
But I mean, given what you said,
see, there she's being evasive.
That's up to the people, because this is the third betrayal by Mike Johnson. He delivered a two-part omnibus, funded the Department of Justice, 91 federal indictments against President Trump, funded the FBI that raided Mar-a-Lago, gave him a brand new FBI building, funded Joe Biden's open border policies that are killing Americans every single day. Then he reauthorized FISA that spied on American citizens, spied on President Trump's campaign, and he voted against the warrant requirement, the same warrant requirement that he was for 6 months ago. And then he did this bullshit in here on the House floor, foreign war package that does nothing for America. It's unbelievable. I'm thankful that America gets to see who this man is. I'm thankful that America gets to see who the people that voted for this is, because this is the only way it's going to change. People have to see the truth.
Why is this fight against Russia not worth it? Based on what you just said, are you waiting to see if there will be more support in your conference before calling a motion to vacate?
There is more support. It's growing. I've said from the beginning, I'm going to be responsible with this. I support my majority. I support the majority next time. I do not support Mike Johnson. He's already a lame duck. If we had the vote today in our conference, he would not be speaker today. He's already a lame duck. He can't raise money. Everyone knows it. We know we can't win the majority next year without raising money. He can't be speaker. He doesn't have the vote. This is the process that just happened.
What are you waiting for to drop this motion? This was the last big legislative push before September, something that you have been against for months now. What are you waiting for on triggering this motion?
You know, there's some people that are rash and irresponsible and do things like what happened last time. I'm not that person. I didn't come here to Congress to actually hurt our institution, hurt our majority. I'm handling this the right way, and so I'm allowing the process to happen. The American people are going to have their way. Our voters are going to make their voices heard to my colleagues in the party. And like I said, the vote was held today. Mike Johnson is a lame duck.
Are you ever going to bring him done? He's done.
What does President Trump make of this? Are you going to bring it up to Trump?
President Trump watches the news. I'm sure he knows what's going on.
Yeah, well, when you really know what is going on, you know, you understand why she's answering those questions in that way. I think Mr. Trump watches the news, and I think he knows what's going on, because actually that interview was done after Trump had got a visit from Mike Jones, the Speaker of the House. Johnson, yeah. Oh, watch out for Johnson. So get your Johnsons out, everybody. Anyway, so Speaker Johnson, he flew down to Mar-a-Lago, and there was some sort of a backroom deal made, as we all know the title of this thing, and nobody really knows what for certain what it is. But you know, the press puts out their own thing, and so Trump is now all of a sudden he's for this money that goes to Ukraine and to Israel and to Taiwan, and what they said is, oh, it's going to strengthen your second term. And it will, this is the thing that's the biggest BS. It will give you the upper hand in a future peace talks with Russia. You know, so that is the key thing that they're trying to make everybody think that was the decider for Trump, that he's going to get the upper hand, that somehow this is going to get him an upper hand by, you know, which is obviously not true. And it will, but she has to shield Johnson from MAGA Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it looks like he probably talked with her, and that's kind of what's going on right there. Even though she's talking that he needs to be gone and all that sort of stuff, she is not initiating any kind of an impeachment thing or to get rid of, like a no confidence vote against Speaker Johnson. So it was so anyway, that's she's holding her end of the deal, and of course these reporters are trying to get her to, say stuff, and she's dancing around it and being evasive. And so you have to ask yourself, well, why did Trump have a change of heart? Was he threatened? You can think he might have been threatened, or he might have been offered some sort of a deal, campaign financing. Sure, he pays a lot for his own stuff, but you can't pay it all, and it's very expensive, and you never know. I don't know if we're actually really going to ever know exactly what happened, in the backroom deal. So, yeah. I don't know. You had another thing from Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, I just realized she's talking about medical safety stuff, so we can't play it because we're on YouTube. So,
okay.
Yeah, I just realized I was about to play it.
The medical industrial complex.
So we'll just leave that until afterwards.
But I had a good one, and it's not really that long. It's not super short, but it's good, and it's with Ben Swan, believe it or not. It's part 2 of Zelensky Unmasked, and I haven't seen Ben Swan for quite some time. As you know, he used to be a big reporter in Fox, and he was really well known back in those days, and he's like a real brain. I think he graduated from university at 13 years old.
It's 12 minutes long.
Huh? 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's a bit long.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Well, if we have time, maybe at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's quite good. And anyway, you'll all get to see Ben Swan again. Amazing person. And then he became a very wealthy, investing in like Bitcoin or something like Bitcoin, not Bitcoin. So anyway, we'll get to that one at some other time if we can. But if I were Putin hearing this excuse of why Trump voted for this upper hand in deal, Putin is either laughing or knowing it's a facade, and yeah, so that's not anything big. And another note about another leader. The leader of China is going to Belgrade, Serbia, in May to commemorate when, well, they say NATO, but everybody knows the United States on May 25th, 1999, bombed the Chinese embassy. Isn't that weird? Right after Israel bombed, this thing in in Damascus, the Iranian consulate. So, yeah, I remember that. I don't know if you remember that, when the United States bombed the embassy of China.
Oh, I've got it working. The translation.
Oh, great!
There you go.
I hope we didn't lose all our.
That's what I've been working on while you were doing that.
Prospective Russian people.
So we got the Russian subtitles working again.
Yeah. Gosh, we got to get that keep going. I hope people can read it. I hope it's big enough. That's what I heard the other night. But anyway, back to Ukraine. Well, first
we can make it that big. Is that big enough? That's big.
I guess it has to. Yeah, it's as big as it gets, probably.
So will you tell your wife?
Huh? Yeah. Okay. you heard that comment. Okay. I didn't have so much about China. I don't know if you have more later, but I had this map, and it just shows how, China's kind of getting surrounded by unfriendly countries. And if, I don't know, can we read the legend here? The darkest ones are fully on the side of the U.S., I guess.
There you go.
And U.S. military bases. Oh, that's the black little things. Oh, that's where the soldiers are. And the green countries are U.S. allies, and light green are those that cooperate militarily with the U.S., and they could be fully in the pocket of the U.S. So all of these countries and all these colors that you're looking at now are not anybody that are, how do you say that, antagonists of the United States. So all of these countries that we're seeing that aren't...
the ones in pink aren't work with China.
Unless they're white. The ones that are white, and there's not that many of them, that are not involved at all. All these ones that are in colors at all have some involvement with the United States. And
except the pink ones.
What does it say about the pink ones?
The pink ones are
it's only a couple pink ones.
Countries that cooperate militarily with China
and US. Okay.
No, the pink and the green one, like Pakistan. This one up here.
Okay,
that's both. Yeah, it's both.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, they're trying to do what they did to Russia and Iran. Ring them with
Well, that's why
enemies.
China's built all this stuff over land.
Yeah, and that's why they recently decided they're changing their military doctrine very much so. Last week they announced that. And I heard U.S. crying about that. They're screaming and crying. They're going to come and get us before we can get them. Yeah. So, anyway, back to the Ukraine stuff again. Nikolai Patrushev, he is secretary of the Security Council of Russia. And Patrushev and I think we're connected. Remember that there was some movie with was it Morton Downey Jr.? I think we're connected. A kid was saying that because his words are they're a lot like mine. But he said, the scale of crimes against humanity committed by Ukraine clearly shows how dangerous the ideology of Nazism is, which the collective West has deliberately nurtured in Ukraine. And I might add the Baltic countries and Poland and many other places as well. It's getting worse and worse. He also goes on to say that since 2014, the Kiev authorities have killed about 17,000 civilians in Ukraine, including about 400 children, and wounded more than 32,000 people. That's incredible. So a lot of people in the West never heard that anybody was killed by the Ukrainians in all those years. That 8 years since 2000 and maybe 9 now.
Saint Ukraine. Saint Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh, they're angels there. There is no, like Tucker Carlson said, there's no Nazis there. I mean, that was the Germany back in the old days. You've got a lot of photos. I don't know if we're even allowed to show things like swastikas and all that they're marching down the streets. And
it's illegal here, you know that, in Belarus, showing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's even maybe illegal to have things with swastikas
on
it.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I went once when I came here. When was this? During the protests. The anti-lockdown ones in London. And when I came here, I tried to get a cup made with the police badge and then the swastika in the middle of it and take the crown out. The crown.
Oh, and
they wouldn't print it here. They said, no, sorry.
Oh, gosh.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah. You could probably find somebody that would, but you'd have to say, don't tell where you got it or something.
There's no need. It was just for that time.
Yeah. So,
which is funny because when I first got here, I went to a flea market and you could buy all that stuff. Like a what do you call it, a boot sale, out the back of a car.
Yeah, you mean when was that? About what year?
2008.
Really? You can buy like things with swastikas and things like that.
Yeah, I bought Totenkopf. Matchbox holder.
Oh, okay. Actually, I have
Which
some
is not
things.
here.
I have some things with swastikas and like I have a couple coins and all that too, and I have a little flag, like these little Ukraine flags, but made of cloth. That those Congress people were waving. But any officials out there, you didn't hear that.
You're a secret Nazi.
Yeah. So I even have some little picture book from something. It's in bad shape though. But anyway,
all that stuff's illegal here.
Yeah, that's frightening. I think I heard that.
You have to burn it.
Oh boy.
Tonight. Burn the books.
Tonight. You're going to come and visit me.
Not me.
You're going to send some. No. So, but talking about the Nazis, we have a photo of the current situation in Ukraine. When about how it's sitting with Russia, and I guess Russia's been making advances. And when it comes to these maps and things, and I see these, to me they always look the same.
Yeah, this one's from the Sunday Times, a Sunday newspaper in London, isn't it?
I think it was from some British publication or something.
Yeah. It's a rag.
Yeah, but I don't know.
They got tanks in the water.
Wow, isn't that incredible?
Sea tanks.
Yeah. And then the Azov Sea. And isn't that, the Azov battalion, they must be steaming right now because there's no connection with Ukraine and the Azov anymore.
You have to change their name.
Yeah. What are they going to call them? The Zaporozhye? No, I don't know. The losers. But
call it Lvov division or something.
Yeah, and I guess these little blue arrows, is that where Ukraine is advancing, and the big red arrows?
Yeah, apparently that's where they're attacking.
Russia is going?
Yeah, there you go.
But they say there's a lot of things in bad shape, like around the Kharkiv region, and then they're doing some decimation, in the area of Odessa as well. See, that's where I was thinking, it starts to get a little bit interesting by looking at these maps. If they advance like past Nikolaev and all the way to Odessa, and maybe move a lot closer to Kharkiv and Avdiivka. That's where if you see where that's at on the map, that's where they were firing off the shells and bombing Donbass for all those years. Most of them were coming from, I believe, Avdiivka, and Russia has it now. But of course, they have to keep advancing to get more and more space to get further and further away from Ukraine being able to bomb Donbass, or at least give Russia more space to shoot down these missiles. And now the United States, part of this big deal, this billions and billions of dollars that the United States is sending to Ukraine in order to, kill more civilians and get their people in Ukraine killed. It also has ATACMS missiles involved in that. There's all sorts of crazy stuff. Part of the bill is TikTok in America.
The ATACMS missiles this time haven't got cluster munitions, so they've got actual real warheads. They'll go further.
I don't know.
300 kilometers.
Cluster munitions are nasty too. So what's worse? They're just bigger booms, or what? Bigger explosions? And they go further.
They got a 300 kilo charge, I think, haven't they?
They're probably faster too, right? These missiles.
But Russia will adapt and shoot them down like they did with the other ones.
Yeah. Well, they've been shooting down like storm shadows and things like that, and I don't think they're that much of a difference.
They tested a S-500 a couple of days ago.
Oh yeah, I heard. And there's a new version of that, and they upgraded the S-300 and the S-400, and I think they're deploying more and more of those also in that area. So, and Ukraine is still crying for more air defenses, and everybody's trying to, that's what they said they want more than anything is air defenses. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. And of course, obviously, that's what they need. And I haven't heard for the past few weeks anything about F-16 and F-16 pilots and anything. Was there some sort of a decision that I missed or something? Or?
No, they're still coming.
They're still coming, but they just stopped talking about them for a week or two.
Yeah, they had. I think they were trying to get some mercenaries to fly them. Because there's some private military groups that have got pilots that can do it, so they think they might try and get them to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some weapons I think you were telling me last week, that Russia has now been putting barges in a lot of places to try to avoid Ukraine's water drones, these boats that are sinking a lot of Russian ships. And of course, that's where Ukraine actually is militarily having success. In the one place is, of course, with the help of Great Britain. And they sank a lot of Russian ships. And of course, they're sinking civilian ships. And I don't know, there's not that much left for them to sink there. But Russia put barges there. And now the United States and the Great Britain and all, they're using underwater drones, I guess, that can go deep and maybe under the barges, and submarine drones or something. What was it? UUVs, I think they call them. And getting more and more into that. So all this stuff is getting more and more advanced in these military things here. But yes, indeed. And I'm just waiting for what's going to happen whenever the battle for Odessa is going to start. That's going to be something terrible. Yes, indeed. Spain.
Aren't they training Romanians and Moldovians for that?
Yeah, I'm hearing these reports, and you never know until it happens. Like you hear reports that lots of French soldiers are already there, and of course they're training these people, training those people, and then you hear there's like Colombians there, and there's even some Africans fighting on the side of Ukraine, and of course some.
They're
on the
complaining
side of
in Colombia that they're not getting the bodies back, and also the compensation.
Yeah, and I think even Brazil, they're having. I think 136 Brazilians have been killed on the Ukraine side, and I heard something about that. I saw an article today. I think there's like 4 people, and that were killed, and they're having difficult times getting the bodies back to Brazil too. Makes you wonder how they talk these people in. That they try to offer them big money, and then they don't pay them. So they're stuck in Ukraine. And then they get thrown into the meat grinder and they die, and they don't get the money either. So I guess that's the life of a mercenary, I guess, when you fight for some Nazis, I guess,
Well, dictator.
Yeah. Yeah, and anyway, Greece, like I was just going to say, they don't want to send their patriots. So I don't know about Spain. And that's the countries under the most pressure by the EU and the United States, is they're trying to say, send your patriots to Ukraine.
Yeah, but the EU now wants to buy them off these countries.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe they're going to do that then.
Just more targets for Russia.
Yeah, but I think some of these things, they're also wanting to buy S-300s. I think they have some of the Russian systems, which, I don't know, makes you wonder which ones are better, Patriots or old Russian systems.
I suppose the Ukrainians would be better on the old stuff because they're used to it.
Yeah, and they're having a lot more success too. Like can you imagine a Patriot? What does a missile cost? $2 million, $3 million for one missile? And you shoot down a $500 drone with a $2 million.
Well, that's what happened in Israel the other day, wasn't it? They spent nearly $3 billion all up, all of them.
Yeah. Well, some of those drones are $2,000, and I just saw something listed that some are only $500, and maybe that's what Iran was sending, because they're
up to $3 million Iran spent, and the West spent $3 billion, up to $3 billion.
Yeah, I think it was over 3-point-something billion, right? Maybe it was even more. I was thinking that was maybe the U.S.
1.3 was just from Israel.
Whoa, 1.3. Okay. And then 3 billion, all of them.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Wow. Yes. And Raisi, I guess that's the name of the president of Iran. He said that I kind of think it's a misinterpretation. You remember back in the old days when Netanyahu was running around saying, Iran says they want to blow Israel off the map. They want to blow us off the map. And it turned out that was just a mistranslation. What it was, I guess then it was Ahmadinejad, who was the president of Iran. He was quoting from Ayatollah Khomeini from the 70s, and what Ayatollah Khomeini said, and Ahmadinejad was just repeating, was that all he said was the Zionist regime in the Middle East will fade from the pages of time. And they turned that into, they want to blow Israel off the map. So they just did their own little interpretation of it, of the Farsi. So, but anyway, in this time, I think what Raisi, the president of Iran, is saying that is, if Israel attacks the soil of Iran, there may be nothing left afterwards of the Zionist regime. So he didn't say that there's not going to be, I don't know. Sometimes I'm trusting the other one when it said there may not be anything left of Israel, but I think he said the Israeli regime, because these people, they don't want to, the Iranians, they don't want to attack innocent people. And that's one reason why, I don't know, most people don't get killed when Iran attacks something, because they go after property and things like that.
They got a fatwa as well on nuclear weapons and not allowed to make them.
Yeah.
But they can make one in a week.
Do you think so?
That's what they said.
Yeah, they probably can.
But they'd have to reverse the fatwa.
I remember back in university, they were talking about it's not difficult to make a nuclear weapon.
No. Just need the
and the plans are out there.
Yeah.
You can go download them somewhere.
You just need the fissile material.
Yeah. And I guess Iran has that. If they want to make one, they can do it. Yeah. And also within that 95 billion, as we were saying, that there's money to Israel, not just Ukraine. The biggest majority, of course, roundabout goes to Ukraine. A lot of it stays kind of in the U.S. because they're making the weapons. But when you say that this stuff is going to the United States when the weapons all end up in Ukraine, I don't know. It's difficult to say that it's going to the United States when they print the fake money and they pay people. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. You follow the money around, and there's nothing ever really created of value. Not even, I don't know. You have the weapons, and when they're destroyed, or when the bombs are used and they kill people, it's all destructive. I don't know. I don't see the point in all of this, but that's why the Congress does. That's why they're waving those flags. So
you think the U.S. would be better in having like a construction companies to fix things afterwards, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but look at like Russia and China. Their main concentration is not in war. Even though you see Russia is effective in war is only because the United States has said for decades that they want to attack and defeat. They want to defeat Russia. You know, so they've had to do that, but they put a lot less into war than the United States. I think the U.S. puts more into war than the next 10 countries combined, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez, that's a lot of money. And I don't know if I was going to put up a video.
Well, they spent $3 trillion, haven't they, since Iraq? Imagine all that money spent inside the United States.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Might look like China.
Yeah. Just think of the infrastructure. They'd have bullet trains, you know, going from the East Coast to the West Coast. You'd get there on a train in 5 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. Everything's getting run down and looks like crap. What about getting somebody to clean up all that junk in these underpasses, like the one we showed last time? That was incredible. That was incredible. Something you don't see in Belarus.
especially after living here and you go down to there.
Yeah, they're so clean here. And it's like, and I see people early in the morning, I go to work and I see people looking for cigarette butts, trying to find things to pick up, you know, to clean the place, to make sure and make it clean, you know, and sweeping it. And then when there's snow, there's always people in different places and they're trying to get rid of the snow and making sure people don't slip.
Yeah, they're up early here, the maintenance workers cleaning up.
Yeah. And I think it's a little bit better pay than what I get even. So I know, a matter of fact,
the problem here is the crows getting into the rubbish bin and then spreading it everywhere. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'd go jogging in the morning and I see garbage around, you know, and I was saying in my YouTube videos, I said, hey, yeah, they're not that clean, you know, look at that. Why don't they just put it in the garbage can? Why do they sit here on the bench or something in there and they just throw it around there, you know? And then I started seeing these crows, you know, sometimes you get a big gang of these crows and they're going in the garbage can and pulling everything out. Spreading, looking for a piece of a shawarma or something like that somebody didn't finish eating, sandwich. I don't know. Yes. So anyway, all these provisions I was just talking about, you know, and TikTok says they're not going anywhere. I heard that just came out today. And the U.S. is going to say they're going to kick them out unless they split from China. So, and the guy from TikTok that runs it, Chinese guy, said, nope, we're not going to leave.
Singaporean.
Is he Singaporean?
Yeah, he's
well,
Singaporean.
They're all Chinese to me.
Yeah. It's very racist of you.
Yes. Yeah, right. But
you're cancelled.
Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. We're on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
No, but they hate the Chinese. Isn't that weird? Chinese used to be a minority, and now they can't get into universities because I think they're too smart.
They're doing too well. And
they do too well.
Indians as well.
Yeah, they're too smart, and then America's starting to wise up a little bit and say these guys are too smart. They're too good in mathematics and everything. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, and part of that bill also includes that they're going to give the frozen assets of Russia to Ukraine. And Europe says, hey, man, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. We're not going to do it. Nobody's going to trust you anymore.
Exactly. Why would you put your money, another country put the money in there?
But we're America. We can do anything we want to do. We make the rules, and you have to do what we tell you to do. If we tell you to trust us, you have to trust us. It seems like that's the whole attitude in the U.S. anymore. I mean, some of these politicians is what I'm getting at. Wow. Yeah. And the new mobilization in Ukraine, it's incredible. You know, everybody says, you know, with all this money that's getting sent to Ukraine, the European Union, I guess they're sending them at least worth of some maybe money.
Just on that thing, China's been getting rid of their U.S. Treasury bonds, and they've gone dropped.
What, in the last weeks or so, or recently?
In the last year or so, it's dropped 52 billion now. It's gone down.
I've been hearing that actually for many years.
Getting rid of them. Everybody's now starting to dump them.
Yeah.
If China wanted to destroy America, all they have to do is just dump all of them really cheap. Just dump them.
Yeah. Boy, no kidding. But anyway,
I'm not suggesting they do.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial expert.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. The gold was going up and now it went down again. So dropped 100 euros.
Crypto's gone up.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, gold went down like 100 euros an ounce.
I bought some crypto of this new coin the other day and it's gone up 300% already.
Wow.
Doesn't say much when it's 0.0000001 cent.
Yeah. So you get 3 cents or something.
Yeah, no, not even that.
Oh, okay.
I probably get 0.00001.
Oh,
not 0.01.
Wow. So you're rich. You can
wow.
You can buy a new apartment or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now anyway, this Ukraine, like they're getting a huge amount of money. I think 1.5 billion euros. I think, was it just today? We'd even mentioned that from the European Union. And how much is the UK sending? And
500 million pounds worth of weapons.
Weapons.
Which I've got a graphic.
Is it over a course of, or is it at one shot?
I think it's as soon as possible.
Over the course of a year. And the US says they're sending them this week, which leaves 2 days or so.
Where is that graphic I had? Keep talking. There it is.
As well as Ukraine is going to end up with a lot of money of getting this frozen Russian assets.
So, Ministry of Defense and support for Ukraine, 500 million to Ukraine. So, 60 boats, 1,600 munitions, air defense missiles, 400 vehicles, and 4 million rounds of ammunition. That's it.
4 million rounds. Oh. Wow, it's a lot of money for.
And those missiles, of course, as well as Storm Shadows. Excuse me.
They're like Storm Shadows or something.
As well as air defense missiles.
Yeah. Well, the boats don't look very impressive. We used to go fishing on boats like that.
Oh, the vehicles.
Yeah.
Speaking of vehicles, have you seen the photos of all those vehicles now at in Russia, in Moscow, on that square? Bradleys, Marauders.
Oh,
all sitting there.
Yeah, I saw some kind of a video, and I don't know. Look, I think they were just beginning to put that stuff up, like Abrams and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I've got, if you want to see a video, it's an interesting one. It's, where are we? Got Russian engineer talking about the Leopards. While we're talking about weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. So this is a 2A5 disabled as it ran over our anti-tank mines, the guy says.
Был выведен из строя путем наезда на наши противотанковые мины.
Was immobilized, losing the track belt.
Значит, был обездвижен, потерял одну высечную ленту. В дальнейшем...
Then FPV drones were used against it, inflicting shrapnel damage, burning its electrical wiring.
Были применены FPV-дроны, получены осколочные повреждения, то есть возгорание электропроводки некоторых приборов.
Some hardware and pressure sensors, as well as various non-critical parts.
Давление различных, некритичных, так скажем, узлов. После
After repairing all these damaged elements, it will take us about 2 days.
устранения всех этих элементов поврежденных нам понадобится в течение 2 дней для восстановления.
To get them back to full power and ready for combat.
Постановки на полный ход и готовность к боевому применению, замена.
Replacing the wiring and replacing the hardware will then allow us to deploy this tank.
Электропроводки, замена приборов.
Against the Germans.
Что впоследствии позволит нам.
Didn't they do that in World War II as well?
I don't know.
Отправить данный танк для.
So its fate will be decided by the command staff. It should be used in Red Square on 1st of May.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, all of them. They should be used all that way.
Дальнейшие судьбы на решение командного состава. Либо при получении каких-то боевых.
If it suffers battle damage, you need to take this tank to a workshop and fix electronic parts.
Повреждений, восстановление электронной части.
Can't do it in the field, in other words.
Требует заводских условий, то есть провести экстренный.
It's not possible to carry out emergency repairs in the field, as you just said, unlike our equipment.
Ремонт в полевых условиях не представляется возможным. В отличие от нашей техники, которая.
Which we restore here directly, practically on the line of contact.
Практически на линии соприкосновения. Это уже не первая.
This is not the first vehicle we've had to evacuate.
Машина, которую нам приходится эвакуировать, были.
There was a Marauder and a M2 Bradley. The first one's a German one, the second one's the US. Now we have a Leopard 2A5. This tank reached us for the first time, but there are no difficulties with it. We have solved trickier issues.
Впервые, Ничего такого сложного. Не такие задачи были выполнены, и не такие будут выполнены встреч. Не последний.
Surely this will not be our last trophy.
Well, lucky boys, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, just one more. Give me a second. And another one. This is the same one. So. Here's them working on it. So yeah, there you go. Leopard trophies.
Yeah.
Like real leopards on the wall.
Real leopards. I saw one the other day. Yeah. Lately, as everyone probably has already heard, they have changed the mobilization laws, and of course in Ukraine. And then they're saying something like, "Oh, now we recruit 25-year-olds," but there were people younger than 25 from the very beginning. I think that's just a big farce there. I think they've even had people, as young as 18 already fighting.
Well, they found that woman, wasn't she 17 or 18?
Oh, yeah. We had one woman, a young girl on there. Jeez. And a girl, not just a,
It's on a dog tag. I think she was 17.
And then they showed boys, too. These young boys, and they were, I don't know, definitely younger than 20 when they were in there. So that's just a big farce that they say, 25 or something. They have them even younger. And they stick them in the meat grinder. But there is another video, and this is, I guess, probably in Poland, I think. It's, a Ukraine mobilization.
So this is in the Ukrainian embassy?
Yeah, these guys. Okay, what part of this is, people should know that if you're of military age, male for the most part, and you need any kind of services done, in a consulate or an embassy, and this is in Poland. I'm assuming it's a consulate or an embassy, and basically all these young military guys are non-persons unless, I think they have to either register. In other words, they're going to get sent to the meat grinders. Either go to the meat grinder or we're not going to do anything with you. It makes you wonder what that kind of a choice is. Say, well, let's see, what's a good choice? I can either go to certain death or not get help by the embassy. I think I would. It's not a very difficult decision.
You need to go to the US border and cross it.
Yeah.
You don't need documentation.
There you go.
Mexican border.
Yeah, you don't even need a passport. Matter of fact, you can say you're Arabic or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe even Germany. Maybe you can just get into Germany. Say it was stolen, your passport, and you're actually from Moldova or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. You guys get pissed. It's a video, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
Ah.
So you're just not doing anything.
Some of these people have paid in advance and then the law. Oh, no, you're not going to help these people. You don't get your money back. There's other videos of the same sort of a deal.
Yeah, many.
Yeah, where they're not helping them anymore unless you go to the meat grinder. So Nikolai Patrushev again. I put a photo. There's actually, I think, a video about this now. But a different picture of the same guy. Again, the secretary of the Security Council in Russia. And he's come out and said all these escalations are caused by the West's unwillingness to give up hegemony.
the masters of the universe.
In other words, one ring to rule them all. And he said this creates conditions for the devaluation of international law. In other words, that's why they come up with now this rules-based order, which basically is no law except do what the United States wants you to do. So that's the devaluation of international law, which everybody was supposed to be following. And even the United States and Israel never really followed it, when it didn't serve their interests anyway. So the Western powers are painfully resisting the transition to the multipolar world order. And as I see it, devaluation of the dollar, the U.S. is more and more losing its grip on the countries such as Africa. You saw Niger's kicking them out, and they are less and less able to control the price of gold anymore. They used to have mechanisms where they could do that, so that's why the gold prices are up.
They're sanctioning some Chinese banks.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's not even the big Chinese banks. The big Chinese banks already found a way around it, you know?
Of course. Well, Russia found a way around it.
Yeah, to help them out. And
they took one of the major banks off the sanctions. You know that in Russia.
I've heard about maybe even two. I'm not positive, but and what that portends and what parts of the sanctions anyway. I don't know if you can do any SWIFT transfers. So actually, it would be better if they would have left it.
I think it's for to pay the LNG and the other things like the uranium.
Yeah,
and all that.
Maybe just certain customers are able to do it for certain items. I don't have any idea. Yeah, but they're screwing things up, and this stuff is actually causing hardship, especially to the vulnerable people in Western society. And we see more and more homeless and more drug addiction and violence and all kinds of crazy. That's why it's getting crazier and crazier in the West.
Which you don't see in Belarus.
Yeah, all that stuff, and that's it makes you really notice, what causes these societies to go crazy like they are in the West, and why it doesn't happen in places like this. So yeah, that's I guess you'd have to live in Belarus, or at least have something to compare with what's going on. If you
Nixon Garland was talking to a Russian journalist / blogger today, and talking about the USSR. Same thing then. No homeless on the street.
Yeah, well, it was against the law not to work in those days.
Exactly. Well, here as well, you have to work.
Yeah. They find
you have to pay a tax if you don't work.
Yeah, you either go to school or
because obviously you're making money somehow.
Yeah, you have to show a source of income. You can be sitting on your butt all the time if you got money coming in, or maybe if you have big savings. I don't know. You just have to show that an income in Belarus, and you're okay. It's not like they're gonna make you go sweep the streets if being a millionaire if you're
work at the zoo.
Yeah, work at the zoo. Actually, I just did it. I could still go to school and I could get other jobs. I'm just doing this, and I don't mind it at all. So it's pretty good. Yes,
he's learning to speak to the animals.
Yes, the problem is, I was hoping I was going to get better in Russian, and then I'm kind of work in a basement area, and there's no internet down there, so I'm not learning any Russian at all. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I learned some swear words, but from the guys, but and I learned names of a couple of animals that you normally, like rabbits and rats or something like that. Chrissy, don't ever name your daughter Chrissy, because that means rats. Chrissy, come here, and everybody say, where? Oh, look out! There's rats on my feet.
You said you saw a puma the other day, or Black Panther.
Well, I saw it a couple times. This Black Panther is huge. They got other big cats like leopards. These leopards are really huge too. And I was thinking lions are much bigger than all the other ones, but I think the panther is bigger than the fully grown male lion. I mean, as far as weight and everything.
They look nicer as well. The Black Panther.
Yeah, and then he walks by and he does this. And even the lion kind of, even though there's a protective thing there, he was like kind of charging me. I'm wearing the zoo clothes so that, if there's other people around, he sees me if I go up, or anybody with a uniform of the zoo. So he cues in on you and he comes to you thinking maybe you have some food to give to him, and I was leaning over and kind of like, I know he can't hear me through the thing, but, and then he kind of got pissed because he says I did. So he's like, and he started like, I'm going to get you. You don't have food for me, So, but I don't know how hungry he was. I can't remember what time of the day that was. Maybe he needed a second feeding of a.
Human.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that why there's no homeless on the streets?
Yeah, I that's a good one. So anyway.
Really joking.
Yeah, yeah. But if talking about death and destruction, Israel supposedly today, when I was leaving to come here, they started a huge major attack, the biggest attack yet on southern Lebanon. And I didn't see anything since I came here. So, but it was a big attack anyway. And there's
this video.
Yeah, that's probably it. Some pictures, like in a civilian area, by the way. We won't hear about how many casualties, maybe for another day or so. 14 airstrikes, I believe. And up to 100 bombs. Thank you, U.S. taxpayers. Listen to that. Those are powerful bombs. They use really powerful bombs. Most military don't get those bombs. Not even the Ukrainians, I don't think, because they're way too big. They do so much destruction, and you know, Israel wants them, and they drop them on crowded areas like in Gaza and probably in cities and all that, as you see now in Lebanon. Really.
Pentagon
nice
was just saying those attack missiles can only be used on Ukrainian territory.
Can only be used, yeah,
against Ukrainian territory.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just like all the other rules they put on a lot of other things, and see how true they came out to be. You know, and there were even some pro-Palestinian protests at the Columbia University in New York City. We have a video of that as well. Some of the young kiddies protesting. New York City, Columbia University. So massive that the president of the university had to cancel all classes, and the instruction was getting done remotely.
Oh, it's music, maybe. Shit.
Just
YouTube.
like during the COVID times, you're at home and you know you don't go to the classroom, you do it by computer, because the protests were so big, or I don't know if you call them protests. They look like, actually that's a protest certainly, but it's a peaceful party protest, I guess you'd call it. And we also have a video of like a 50-year, I guess, reunion for this rail project. It's an infrastructure project in Russia, but of course it's growing massively.
Is that the one to Vladivostok?
It might be, because it's going to the Pacific. It's called the BAM. It's the Baikal.
There we go.
I don't know. BAM. Yeah, Baikal Amur Main Line, I guess.
Let's see what they have to say. Oh, got music.
Well, that's just regular. I don't think it's a song.
Yeah, I know, but you never know with YouTube. So,
okay.
So what's that? 4,200 kilometers. 1974 was announced. Trans-Siberian Railway.
The engineering, look at those bridges. America doesn't even build those anymore.
It's going to take 10 years to rebuild that one in Baltimore.
10 years? Russia'd have it probably done in less than a year.
They do them here pretty quick too, if you noticed, on the roads.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I saw that one 3 months.
I don't know if you noticed, they're refurbishing all the bridges here.
I saw
they're going through.
Yeah, yeah, I did see some of that. I didn't. Now that you mention it. Yeah, and this, I guess, this BAM is really bringing a lot of money to Russia too. Just like what they're going to do with the Arctic Sea Route, you know, with the container ships and things going through there. Russia is really, really doing well financially. And the U.S., I guess they're putting all their money into the bombs. It's incredible, you know, that they're not really learning what the heck is going on. And I guess it's supposed to still bring a lot of money to Russia for the next half century, at least, this thing, before they're going to have to be maybe doing a little bit more. And meanwhile, the United States is leaving Niger as Africa moves into Africa, or Russia moves into Africa. Yeah, cats. Yes. Anyway, I had a little cat video. It has nothing to do with anything. I don't know. You don't have to put that one up. Just cats running.
And you know how they all say there's corruption in Russia and da. But there is, because look, this guy is a deputy defense minister, just got caught, and he's in court already.
I'll tell you what, if it was an American, and they're all involved in corruption anyway in America, it's all corrupt. And if it gets too corrupt, or maybe they step on the wrong person's feet because their corruption over-trumped some other bigger shots corruption, they just make them resign.
Yeah. It shows you here that they're, they try and stomp it out, especially in Belarus too.
Belarus.
Yeah.
His own doctor.
Yeah.
I think he got his own doctor arrested. I mean, he had to, for corruption. And yeah, you hear about it all the time. That's why you see everybody looking very nervous in the government in Russia and Belarus, I mean, because you want to make sure you don't do anything wrong, I guess, because you be held accountable for it.
There's tank production in Russia at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Серийно поставляем машину, смотрим дополнительную защиту. В прошлый раз, когда мы были здесь, мы смотрели, значит, защиту прицелов. Защита прицелов, она есть, да. Серийно мы, да, конечно, принимаем все меры для увеличения объема выпуска.
And there are jobs available, people that want to go to Russia. Lots of jobs.
Начали эту большую программу по дополнительной защите, но когда мы там сплавы искали, все остальное искали, все это нашли, все это сделали, но сейчас надо увеличивать. Вот говорили, что у нас серийные машины все, то есть капиталки и новые машины. У нас должно идти в комплект. Вот прошлый раз, когда здесь... Да, пусть идет комплект. Ну ладно. Вот с Кетом мы говорили тепловую защиту. Да, тоже идет. Так точно, все идет.
So, lots of production going on in Russia.
Yeah, lots of it, I know. And there's shifts going 24 hours a day, and they're short of people. They need a lot more people in Russia. There's like a labor shortage. So, you know, and of course, pay is going up more and more. And if you're living in Russia, of course, a lot of the costs are lower, even though the pay is lower. But I don't know. It's actually works its way out to be very, very good.
And there's some Abrams that were actually built in Russia seen. Abram tank.
Oh, yeah.
Built in Russia.
Yeah, I saw those.
Was seen. Here it is. There it is.
Yeah, look at that. Will you look at that? Will you look at that, says Ed Bassman. You look at that. Will you look at that? Well, look at that. Yeah.
And while we're on Russia, you obviously, a lot of people have seen this. And J.K. Rowling's bought real estate in Moscow, a big apartment.
Now she's living in Russia.
Because she said she can say what she wants there, because she can't say what she wants in the UK.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of people, celebrities, what Gerard Depardieu, I know that was even a couple of years ago, and the son of Art Garfunkel, his name is also Art Garfunkel, remember, from Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, I mean, you know, but anyway, he lives in Minsk.
Don't give up your day job.
Yeah, he lives in Minsk.
Does he?
Yeah. We should try to find him and
get him on the show.
Yeah. He said he went to 50, I think it was 51 countries, looking for a, you know, I think he saw this coming in the United States, so he wanted to get out. And he went to 51 countries, and he found the best country to live in is Belarus. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So J.K. Rowling's.
Isn't that incredible that we are here, and it's kind of like a best kept secret sort of a deal. It makes you wonder if we're going to have to start getting an invasion of Americans and people. But they don't make it so you can just flood in here like the southern borders of the U.S. So anyway.
And did you see? Let's see if this is the right one. Hang on.
And the zoo needs people. They always need people to work there. People that don't drink, and people that are reliable and dependable.
And Russian MMA
don't drink much.
Russian
at work.
Russian MMA fight the other day. Oh. So this Iranian got disqualified because what he did to the girl.
В данном случае сокомментаторы болеют против одного. То есть Александр будет болеть против Алексея Бати. Это все-таки спор, спор, что находится именно в октагоне.
Well, he was stretching out and he actually...
No, he did kick her.
He did? Oh, because the way she's acting.
Well, get her out of the way because he wanted to fight.
Oh, instead of dancing around.
So now he's apologizing. But he got disqualified from the fight.
From the fight.
Mm. Don't touch the girls.
Don't touch them. Gosh.
And we've got Shogu again talking about how many people Ukraine has lost.
Yeah, I think it's an understatement, to be honest with you.
So $500,000.
I think it's higher than that. It's a lot of people, though, 500,000 anyway. It's a lot of people. And you saw the Congress cheering and waving Ukrainian flags to kill more. And they don't like Ukrainians. American elite military, government people, they don't like Ukrainians. They hate Ukrainians. They hate whoever the government tells them to hate. You know? I remember growing up, they hated Ukrainians. And so from turning like a switch, all of a sudden they love Ukrainians. Next week, they'll hate them.
Here's your cat video.
Look at this.
Just in case the music.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah. That's the European Union all walking in lockstep. That's the West. Walking in lockstep.
And then I got a cat one as well, which I showed you. You want to see this cat one?
Let's see it.
It's not a video.
Oh.
It's this one.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Can you make that bigger? That's cool.
So it says when you can't let the cat out because it might invade Poland.
Yeah. Good.
Looks like him.
Yeah. Look at that. You Schweinehund! Schweinemaus!
And this video from this Australian, this guy and professor in Australia in Curtin University, which is Western Australia, I think, talking about the aid and that for the Ukrainians and the war.
Dollars won't change the direction of the way the war is going in Ukraine. Look, Ukraine is going to lose this war. It's a nation, started out as a nation of 44 million people. 10 million people went to different countries to hang out. And, Russia is 149 million people in 11 time zones. They were never going to beat them. They're just never going to beat them that way. And so they did the best they could. They fight very heroically. And I think the American Congress has come up with this a massive amount of monies in order to sort of stab their consciences a little bit and to avoid the claims around election time that who lost Ukraine. We really should be spending a little more time on some kind of diplomatic solution and stop the killing. The Ukrainians are losing about 30,000 men a month, and that's the problem, Kenny. They've run out of manpower. I mean, they're having trouble recruiting. The average age of the soldier in Ukraine is 43 years old, for goodness sake. And the Russians have come up with 500,000 recruits this year. The Ukrainians cannot. It's just a matter of statistics now and probability. I mean, Ukraine is going to lose the war. They'll still be able to retain a large part of their country. But I think the American government has come a little too late to this. I'm afraid.
Oops.
Well, all truth stuff. You know, he put it as gently as he can. They fought heroically and all that sort of stuff. And then they did, you know, a lot of those, just like what we were showing at the very beginning, you know, it's really terrible that the West has helped very, very much in indoctrinating these people
excuse me,
into that terrible ideology, you know, and it's a similar ideology to what's going on in Israel, you know, telling the master race, or no, God's chosen people, not master race, or, you know, or what did Obama say? The indispensable, what did he call Americans? Exceptional people. Arestovich, look at that.
Yeah, he's talking about how many people are jumping ship, you know, in the army, defecting, or it's 100,000 so far have left.
Wow, 100,000.
Yeah.
Требовать от людей защищать свою страну, может быть, надо создать страну, которую хочется защищать. Кто-то пробовал говорить всерьез со
100,000 deserters.
100 тысячами уклонистов. Всерьез.
He used to be Zelensky's chief
ты мужчина.
advisor.
Ты даже был уже в армии. Ты проявил мужество, ты пришел в эту армию по повестке. Но сбежал. Чего сбежал? Смотри, большинство уклонистов — это не люди, которые запихали в бусики.
So he was talking, there's 100,000 deserters so far.
Stuffed into a bus, like we showed that one video. Yeah. Maybe we can show that Ben Swan video. That 11 minutes.
Maybe. We'll just... and everybody's favorite airplane company. This is another Boeing 737-800. It lost its wheel.
A Boeing? I mean.
So if you have a look. It's missing a wheel.
Holy moly. Will you look at that? Will you look at that? Wow.
Seems to be happening often now.
Yeah, things falling off. No quality control or whatever. They probably fired them. Or they got some migrants in there that doesn't...
Diversity?
Yeah.
Diverse training?
Some blind person or something doing quality control or who knows what, you know.
Yeah, and everybody's favorite witch?
Hillary?
Hey, how did you know? So here we go.
You know, his bromance with Putin, and it was actually told that, I think, by the former Prime Minister of Australia, who said he saw Trump with Putin, and Trump was like, you know, just gaga over Putin, because Putin does what he would like to do: kill his opposition, imprison his opposition, drive, you know,
that's
journalists
what you would like
and
to do,
others
Hillary.
into exile,
that's what they're doing.
Rule
She's
without
did that,
any check or balance. That's what Trump really wants.
What's the death rate around the Clintons now?
Oh gosh, you know, some people have the death count up to 200, but I think there's the expert is Michael Rivero from WhatReallyHappened.com. A lot of people that say they're experts on the Clintons say that he's the expert in reality because he's been doing it for a long time, and he has it over 100. You know, a lot of the state patrol they would kill those because they knew what the Clintons were doing, and and during her time. When she was running against Trump, how many people there died? Some guy was supposedly lifting weights and that his larynx got crushed or something. And what was it? Seth Rich, I think, was the other guy, you know, and he was mugged and killed, but somehow they didn't take his money, you know, so they took a flash drive.
A lot of people hanging themselves and shooting themselves at the same time.
Flash drive. Yeah. Hung him,
be very conscious
shot
of
themselves
how
twice
he,
in the head.
Sees the world, because in that world he only sees strongmen leaders. He sees Putin, he sees Xi, he sees Kim Jong-un in North Korea. Those are the people he is modeling himself after. And we've been down this road in our, you know, world history. We sure don't want to go down that again.
Saying strange,
you know,
Trump was around long before those leaders were around, and but yet Trump is modeling himself on them when he has not. He's exactly the way he was.
And then
20 years ago.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. He's blaming Tucker for
yeah.
We'll play this. He's blaming Tucker for
Hillary blames whatever and everybody and.
Yeah, he's blaming Trump for Tucker for hating Ukraine in the US.
persuaded to your position here? Was it the overall nature of this bill and what was lost in that time period for Ukraine?
Well, that's a good question. You already know the answer. I think the demonization of Ukraine began by Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. Did you know that?
Yeah. Like even people that that don't even know who Tucker Carlson is, they know a lot about Ukraine already.
Yeah. And you have one animal video? I've got one animal video.
Do I have one? I don't think
No,
I
the
have
cats.
one.
The cats.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I see you with emperor penguins.
Penguins?
Emperor penguins, not just the normal penguins.
Wow.
These are newborns. First time to jump off a cliff, like an ice sheet.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Call it the leap of the penguins, the surprising cliff dive seen on camera for the first time.
What you're about to see has never before been captured on video. At just 6 months old, these emperor penguin chicks marching to the ocean, crowding the edge of a 50-foot cliff in West Antarctica.
What on earth is going on here?
About 700 of them, hesitating at first, until one brave chick takes the plunge, splashing into the icy waters below.
I can't believe that. He's made it.
Then, one by one and in groups, they jump.
Look at him go, darling. Look at him go.
This first-of-its-kind footage captured just a few months ago by National Geographic photographer Bertie Gregory.
I've only ever seen emperors jump in off the sea ice, and that's a couple of feet maximum.
Scientists say it's another sign of their resilience as sea ice continues to decline.
That's a lie.
Right, you're right.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, is that incredible?
Oh, no, that's true. YouTube.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yes,
YouTube.
wonderful.
YouTube, that's true.
There's no ice left.
Yes, global warming, people, global warming.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything's going.
Yeah, remember in 2013, just like Al Gore said, there will be no more snow and ice in the world. So that was old footage, what you're just watching right now, because it's as you know, it's 2024. And in 2013, Al Gore told us there's no more snow and ice.
Exactly.
On Earth. Because Al Gore told us so. And will you look at that?
And in Australia, they're trying to change the laws for, censoring and all that. So, as usual.
They don't seem to be doing much about it. And I have to tell you that in the last 12 hours, New South Wales police and community leaders have been battling misinformation spreading around the web, inciting community members to rush to particular religious facilities and mosques and churches on the hint or the rumour of some kind of violent activity taking place. Look, it's very dangerous. We want to work with the Commonwealth Government on shutting down some of the accounts that cause particular trouble overnight, but I'm not going to lie about it or sugarcoat it. It's very difficult to maintain community cohesion when outright lies are spread within the community, inciting the worst fears of particularly young people.
We saw that video today of them asking the head of Asia about the Aussie Cossack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we saw that as well. They were asking him why he's still been able to, do his bit while he's in the Russian embassy. And then this deranged Australian senator, she wants Elon.
Oh gosh!
She wants.
I saw that. I saw her.
Yeah,
funny nose, the one with the funny nose, right?
Yeah. She wants Elon jailed for
being Elon.
for wanting free speech. For wanting free speech.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible?
Whatsoever. I don't know, whatever Elon Musk is on, it says that that's okay to continue to air that is absolutely disgusting behaviour. And quite frankly, the bloke should be jailed. And the sooner that we can bring rules in or do something about this sort of game playing with our social media, the better off we're going to be. But quite frankly, the power that man has, because of that platform that he's on, it's got to stop. It has absolutely got to stop.
The platform that he's on, or you mean that he owns?
Yeah,
it's got to stop freedom speech.
And during the true pandemic, which is she was pushing the wonderful vaccines which work.
Those the great vaccines.
Yeah, they
she
work.
was pushing those great vaccines.
Yeah, they work.
Wow, what a hero!
Yes. And tomorrow, Australia and New Zealand is Anzac Day.
Anzac Day.
So that's
Oh,
tomorrow.
look at that. What is that?
It's like, well, it's Anzac's like a memorial for veterans and all that, essentially. But it started after the Anzacs, which is the Australian New Zealand Army Corps in Turkey at Gallipoli.
Oh.
Where they got massacred because of Churchill.
Yeah. Churchill, yeah, that great war hero.
Yeah, in the First World War, he did a lot of plans and killed a lot of people.
England's finest hour.
Yeah.
He's the one, he got a lot of people, he was a lot of responsible for that massacre in Dresden too. I think he and the US, you know, when they massacred all the civilians.
So that's tomorrow in Australia and in New Zealand.
But wait a minute, the West doesn't kill civilians.
So if you're in London tomorrow morning at dawn, go to the Australian Memorial, which is just on the Hyde Park corner, and you can see that going on.
No killing, I hope.
No reenactments.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try and get to Turkey to watch it, but just haven't never been able to make it. Never. And we've still got 15 minutes.
Yeah, we can play Ben Swan.
Okay, we'll play a bit of Ben Swan.
I like Ben Swan. Back from the old days, I tell you what. Like I said, a very accomplished man. Very much in favor of...
And then after that, we'll do You Don't See That in Belarus,
exactly.
Our news section.
We can't miss that.
Can't miss that. And we'll get off YouTube after this. Is this all right for YouTube?
Yes.
This one's after. This one's all right. So after this, YouTube's off, but we'll give you plenty of time and you can get to Rumble to watch
the fun stuff.
You Don't See That in Belarus. So let's listen to this.
Trade to be. Even if you believe that he is a righteous servant of democracy, one thing is without a doubt. He is an actor in more ways than one. But he's not an actor who simply became president. He had backing. What virtually no American knows about Zelensky is that he appears to be backed by shadowy billionaires accountable to no one other than their own business interests. Zelensky's image isn't something that just happened. It appears to be carefully coordinated and orchestrated. Zelensky as a leader is being portrayed by the dominant mainstream media as a noble, saint, selfless, brave, chic even. A hero to woke actors and warmongering politicians alike, Zelensky is the world's biggest celebrity, and he's being billed as something more. He is the new George Washington, the new Winston Churchill. So what's the truth? I'm Ben Swan, and this is Zelensky Unmasked.
And who is Zelensky? I mean, this is a guy that used to play the piano with his penis when he was a comedian playing the president of Ukraine.
The history of Zelensky is interesting, and it's exactly what you would expect for a person who is acting as the president of a country right now. He was in a TV show, The Servant of the People, and he was a comedian. And in that TV show, he was a teacher who became president. And he wanted the country to join NATO and join the EU and all of the things that, he's acting as now. So then his financial backers then started a party, and they called that party the Servant of the People Party. And they ran him as president with exactly the same platform that he had in the television show.
Vladimir Zelensky didn't just become president of Ukraine. Not surprisingly, he had help. What mainstream media won't tell you is where that help came from. A name you've probably never heard. Igor Kolomoisky is one of Ukraine's leading oligarchs, and he's the owner of the 1+1 Media Group, one of Ukraine's largest media conglomerate.
Isn't he locked up right now?
Yeah, and I think Zelensky owns that media group now. He owns most all the media in Ukraine, as far as I know.
Kolomoisky's network aired Zelensky's hit TV show, Servant of the People, the one that made him a star. Kolomoisky also has been accused of being one of the most notorious gangsters in Ukrainian history. He's accused of embezzling billions of dollars and of hiring people to kill his rivals. That aside, Ukraine's worst-kept secret is that Kolomoisky was pulling the strings of Zelensky's presidential campaign. And even though he's Jewish, U.S. government officials claim that Kolomoisky was the brainchild and bankroller of Ukraine's neo-Nazi Azov battalion. Soon after Zelensky's Servant of the People Party was launched, Kolomoisky got the attention of the FBI. The U.S. Justice Department claims that his Privat bank ran a Ponzi scheme which stole billions from investors and hid $70 million of it in the United States. It was Kolomoisky's money and the enormous power he wielded which was needed to complete Zelensky's transformation from TV personality to his country's top man.
The show was so popular and Ukrainian presidents were so bad that they took him, ran him, and he beat the people, not because he's qualified, but because they were so sick of the old system. They thought this actor could pretend to be president better than presidents were actually being president.
So clearly it was a production to create a television show and then eventually turn it into a party. But they knew that the people of Ukraine wanted peace, as most people in most countries want.
At least he's promised to end the war. That's what we are hoping for.
So he ran as the peace candidate, and he ran arguing that he would push for peace with Russia, peace with the Donbass, etc., and he won. Of course, when he won, unfortunately, he did a complete political reversal and he went in the direction that his backers wanted.
Zelensky took office in 2019 amidst the catastrophic collapse of public confidence in Ukraine's government and frustration with that society's endemic corruption. Hope quickly turned to despair, however, once it became clear that under Zelensky, nothing had changed. The economy remained in shambles, corruption was still rampant, and the Donbass war still raged on. Zelensky had failed to live up to any of his promises.
The war comes, and they take this man with 23% popularity who has shut down all democracy, and we turn him into Winston Churchill.
And pretty soon, Zelensky was everywhere, on the cover of Time, Newsweek, Wired, Vanity Fair. He was even photographed for Vogue. You can't make this stuff up. He and his wife posed for cover photos while he was in the midst of leading a war, supposedly for his country's survival. Really? And he had time for this. Actually, he had time for this and a lot more. The actor turned president also made his way to the U.S. stage by recording messages which were played live at the Grammys and the Golden Globes. He rang the bell at Wall Street virtually, and he visited Congress live and in person. A weird sand statue of him was erected in Estonia, and Congressman Joe Wilson, a Republican from South Carolina, introduced a bill to erect a permanent bust of Zelensky at the U.S. Capitol. By the way, you can now purchase a miniature version of this would-be bust on Amazon for $19.99.
He was selected to act in this role, and he's doing a fantastic job as an actor. Quite frankly, this is a role of a lifetime, and he's killing it.
And it's clear that Zelensky got a lot of help in prepping for this role.
So basically today, the Ukraine is run by the deep state, the military in Washington, the people who want war to make money from war, in the military-industrial complex in the United States, and Zelensky is a puppet within this whole big show.
It was from the very beginning, this was some kind of in my opinion, it was some kind of an intelligence-pushed media operation to this day. And that's why he's always behind green screens. That's always why he's doing covers for various magazines, etc. Because this is really
suck in your stomach,
for people worldwide to think that they have a president of a country and he's just a hollow figure.
Here's something you're not going to see on CNN. Throughout history, intelligence agencies have invested massive amounts of money to manage public relations campaigns. That's just a fact. These campaigns have been waged to spread disinformation in the interest of getting public opinion behind a war. And you don't have to look very far back in the past to find examples. I'll give you one right here. 1990, a girl from Kuwait who said her name was Naira testified that she witnessed babies being taken out of incubators and killed by Saddam Hussein's forces. Turned out, that was a lie. And the girl wasn't just some random girl. She was the daughter of Kuwait's ambassador to the United States, Saud al-Sabah. The story about the incubators, by the way, it never happened. But it was too late, once we knew for sure. The publicity campaign associated with that lie swayed public opinion against Saddam Hussein and in favor of a U.S. invasion of Kuwait. 12 years later, U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell took his turn at lying with an eye towards Iraq. Remember this famous shot of him holding up vials of those biological weapons samples? He testified before the world that the country had weapons of mass destruction. This bold-faced lie prompted the U.S. invasion of Iraq and the deaths of over 1 million Iraqi people. So the question that thinking people must grapple with, could the same thing be happening in the case of Ukraine?
It's interesting because for the most part, that that production has been successful. He's been pushed as a hero of democracy, and this poor country, this small democratic free country has been attacked by a brutal and angry, emotional person, not a country. It's the traditional Marvel Comics hero villain scenario. He's a hero, he's a good guy, stands for everything good, and he's attacked by the equivalent of Lex Luthor in a Superman movie, which would be the evil Vladimir Putin. And they've been, pretty successful with that in the United States simply because that's the only story that's allowed to get out.
The reality of things in Ukraine are much more grim. Under Zelensky's watch, the Russian language has come under attack, as has the Orthodox Church. Alternative media outlets have been banned, as have opposition political parties.
It's called
Zelensky's
democracy.
cult-like status in the West is masking the rising tide of authoritarianism in Ukraine. And not just that, it appears that even Zelensky is starting to believe his own hype.
Now he actually believes he's a man of gravitas, that he is Winston Churchill.
Like the original Churchill, Zelensky isn't necessarily all about peace either, even though the PR machine that surrounds him tells us that he is. As numerous military analysts have asked, what's the end game here? There's much agreement that long-term, Ukraine doesn't really have much of a chance in this war. So why is there no effort toward peace?
10 years from now, when they write the history of this conflict, he's going to be the most reviled man in the world because he is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians. Hundreds of thousands of people he swore to protect, he slaughtered. For what? Because he's addicted to weapons-infused, ego-driven narcissism.
Ukraine is becoming a nation of widows and orphans.
Colonel Richard Black.
300,000 dead Ukrainians. Douglas McGregor would say 350,000. All right, I'll go on the conservative side there. And 30,000 Russians. I don't know. They say the figure's 10 to 1. Whatever it is. Let's say 400,000, 500,000 altogether. Whatever it is. It all could have been avoided. And you know what? Nobody in D.C. that's connected, whether it be Raytheon, Victoria Nuland, Joe Biden, Lloyd Austin, they don't give a rat's ass about any of those Ukrainian deaths at all.
Zelensky is part of a pattern right now throughout the U.S. empire where you put an actor in place who appears to be making decisions, but he's not. So he's just another one of many. And they bring him out and he does what he's told.
If Zelensky just does what he's told, that would mean he's a hollow leader. It also means somebody else is pulling the strings. Who is it that appears to be telling Zelensky what to do, what to think, what to say? Who is really running Ukraine? We'll investigate as we continue to unmask Zelensky.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's reminds me of Robert Kennedy Jr. He has that book, The Real Fauci, talks about the real Fauci, and it's like, well, even the things you hear about Fauci, Dr. Fauci, are very shocking.
Shocking. I'm shocked.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so we're nearly finished. Here's our new section called You Don't See That in Belarus.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Funny stuff are sometimes funny.
Oh, but first, I digress.
I digress.
We must get off.
Oh, YouTube. Oh, YouTube will have our skins.
Yes, we must.
No humor is allowed on YouTube. I mean,
no. Please go to our Rumble channel for the rest of the live show. I will put in the address for the show in the chat of YouTube, and then we'll cut that off and we'll go to our new section. So we'll just do that. Okay, there goes the link. Now we're ending the stream on YouTube. Please come to Rumble and see the last bit. You won't see that in Belarus.